And continuing now with my exclusive interview with Rush Limbaugh.
Let's say we had a $700 billion bailout, $850 billion is the stimulus number. Some Democrats want more than that. So there's a lot of money on the table here. Largest, transfer of wealth and control to the government in the history of this country, as you were pointing out earlier here. If that is implemented, if he meets with rogue dictators, if he doesn't come out with moral clarity and back, say, Israel, if he doesn't stand up to Ahmadinejad, this is all his statements, what happens in 4 years with an Obama presidency?
Well, who can know? I do think that he is going to overreach. I think the Democrats are going to overreach. This thing that happened all day Sunday, the Wellstone Memorial on steroids.
Oh, boy.
And they overreached on that. I don't know that he's going to do all of those things. I think he's going to say he's going to do all those things. He's going to placate. I think he's going to face a whole different set of realities once he actually gets in the Oval Office and starts doing things. But the financial stuff's done. And we're looking at $1 trillion deficit this year, even before a stimulus package. I don't know where we're getting the money for this. But this hasn't, Sean, it wasn't 6 months ago that the Democrats out ripping Bush for deficit spending. It was horrible. It was rotten. Now, of course, the question is, can we spend it fast enough to save America? It's a bill of goods, and a lot is going to depend on how long the media sticks with this. I think they can't let him fail. And there are enough Americans who are simple sponges that watch news twice a week, believe what they see, and are done with it. The culture, we've lost the culture, Sean. We have lost pop culture. It is unrealistic to expect the people watching MTV, going to see the rot Hollywood's putting out, listening to the rot music is today, and every 4 years they're going to go to a voting booth and vote Republican or conservative. And this is something that we haven't even addressed publicly in an electoral way, a strategic way, but that's going to have to be done as well. But if he's a big failure in reality, will the media portray it that way?
At some point, it's got to become him.
Well, no, wait. See, I got arguments with people about this. To this day, FDR is still a hero. And
true.
Hoover is the idiot. Hoover is the guy that broke the country. If the media wants to prop somebody up, they will do so. Liberalism in the media, a series of myths. One of the myths is that the Kennedys are smart. Caroline Kennedy, there's so many myths that liberalism is built on that have to be covered. Liberalism cannot cannot deal with the light of truth being shined on it.
Let me ask you this, because we have Geithner, we have Eric Holder, we have Carol Browner, we have conflicts of interest with Hillary Clinton. Just where are the Republicans standing up? In the past, anybody that had an illegal immigrant problem had to withdraw. Geithner has an illegal immigrant problem and a tax cheat problem. If Rush Limbaugh doesn't pay his taxes, why do I doubt Harry Reid and Dick Durbin and Chuck Schumer are going to say, Rush is a good guy, he made an honest mistake? Not going to happen.
It's two sets of rules. The Democrat Party has never claimed to have standards. Only once in my memory have they claimed to have ethics, and that's when Pelosi promised the most ethical Congress in 2006 after the elections. If they actively promote no standards for themselves, then how can they violate them? As far as the liberal media is concerned, Geithner's too important to fail. He's the only man who can fix this. Hillary, ethics? What is this? There's no ethics violation. It's not possible for Democrats to create these. It's all under the rubric here of Obama is too big to fail. People don't care about the only Democrat that, as you know, has got an ethical problem is Blagojevich, and that's only because he was foolish enough to be taped acting as Democrats do, selling the Senate seat in Illinois. But so I think it's a waste of time to focus on the Geithners. You pointed out, but we can point it out. We can point out the conflicts of Hillary, but it's not going to change voters' minds about who they are. There's two sets of rules, one for the dominant left and one for everybody else. And Geithner, for example, you use him, he's too important. He's the only guy that understands this. So this is everybody does. That's the constant excuse. Everybody has sex with their intern. Everybody, leaves the stain in the blue dress. Everybody does this.
Rush Limbaugh did it. It'd be a different story. Let me ask you about the outgoing president. I appreciate the fact that George W. Bush went for an NSA program, a Patriot Act, enhanced interrogations, used all his political capital, sacrificed any public opinion approval numbers, and at the end of the day, it reformed our national security, kept the country safe. You don't hear a good word about him.
No,
what are your thoughts about him? What are your thoughts?
I think he's a decent man. He had a reverence for the office. That's why he didn't get partisan. He thought it was irreverent to turn the Oval Office or the office of the presidency into a partisan strategic battle place. He just didn't want to do it. He was content to let history be the judge. I think I heard Rove say, even on your network, that they miscalculated in not firing back on some of these things often enough, because the president is the leader of his party and as such the leader of his troops. And while he's being criticized to smithereens, everybody who voted for him is at the same time. And those people need leadership. The American people crave leadership. Our side doesn't offer any electoral leadership. There's not one elected official that is offering our side any leadership. That's one of the things Obama does. He makes people think he's leading them. He inspires confidence in them. And we have to admit that. And it's not going to help us to continue to cave and invest our hopes in him. I know what our strategy. They're hoping he fails so they can go back. We wanted him to succeed. We gave it everything we got. We worked with him, but that's not how it works. Because whenever they fall out of unison with him, if they do, the attacks on them are just going to be vicious.
It's coming.
It's coming. They should know that it's going to happen no matter what they do, so do the right thing. But Bush, decent man, and I don't think people understand. You're president of the United States, 9/11 happens. You don't know what's going to happen the next 2 hours, that night, the next day. You take the oath of office, defend and protect the Constitution and the people. Obviously, they had to focus exclusively on that. That's the job, as he determined it, and we haven't been hit since in this country. Yeah, domestic policy, he did some things that puzzled us, creating a new entitlement, the whole immigration thing, signing campaign finance reform. But he's a good man. He's not hated.